next item on the workbench is for me to build a load protector or a dim bulb protector. I found this at the local hardware store, and it has a AC plug-in on it. If I could rewire this so that plug is in series with the lamp, I could mount this directly to the workbench and use the chain to turn it on and off. It would be ideal. So let's open it up and see what we have. Inside we have the porcelain lamp holder, some instructions, and a couple of screws. Inside the instructions, I'm sure it's going to tell you the proper way to wire this. Both in English and in Spanish. So it looks like we have two screws holding the socket in. And on the bottom side, we have the ground, the neutral, and the hot, and then the whole switch assembly. In order to make this work, I would have to have the bulb in series with the socket. So let me take this apart and let's see how that switch is wired in and figure out what we're going to do. I'm going to look to see which leg that this lamp is hooked to. Okay, when the switch is on, this leg goes through to the lamp, and it looks like the other leg is hooked to the outer shield here through this screw. Like that. So let me draw this up the way it's wired now, and then a drawing of how I want it to be wired. So let me do that and I'll get right back to you. Well, I drew out the circuit, and it looks like the three-prong plug is in parallel with the AC coming in, and the lamp is switched in parallel with that. So to make this thing work, we have to have this all in series. So we have to break this line, and we have to break this line. Leading us with this circuit here. The AC coming in, going through the switch, through the light bulb, to one prong of the three-pronged outlet, through the piece of equipment, to the other prong of the 3-prong outlet out to the other leg of the AC line. That would put it all in series. Somehow we have to modify this to this schematic. Well, disaster struck. As I was reaching for my coffee, my arm hit the porcelain fixture and onto the floor it went, and it broke into a million pieces. So down to the hardware store I went, and I picked up a new one. This is a little bit different manufacturer than the one that I had, but it's the same layout. So let's open it up, see what we have. Well, we have the porcelain fixture, the light chain, and the instructions are actually on the inside box. You'd have to rip the box open in order to read the instructions. So we're back to the beginning. Again, it looks like this is held in with 2 screws. The switch assembly seems to be a little bit different than the old one. But let's go ahead and take it apart and see what we need to do. It looks like it's the same layout as the other one, where the center is going through the switch. Let's check it real quick. Yes, it is. So if we take a look back at our schematic, the switch side does not go to the terminal on the plug. That has to be cut. So if we cut this, the only support that we've got for this unit is with this screw. We might be able to epoxy that in. I think a better idea would be to put a cheater plug in on this side and then solder it to the terminals here. This is an old style cheater plug. It's a 3-wire to 2-wire with a screw terminal on it. So if I were to put this in, and solder this terminal from the cheater plug to this lug, and do the same thing on the other side, then cut this, that would be secure. Then I could go ahead and put a wire from here off of the switch out to the AC, and then do the same on this one. Cut this and solder it to this lug. Then I could go ahead and wire this to the opposite terminal, and I would have a completed circuit. So let's take this apart, pull these pieces off, and make some cuts. Okay, there's one done. Let's hook it up to the correct leg here. Well, I got called away for a couple hours, and I'm back here on the project. So what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and reassemble the socket. Let's double check to make certain that we have continuity from the center light switch on, light switch off. Yes, we have continuity there. And we should have continuity from the outer shell to the other lead. Yes, we do. The next thing I want to do is I want to mount this onto the porcelain ring. With these tabs here, I'm going to have to pull this back off, put it on, and remount it. Now we need to put this plug into the socket and put the connectors on the ends and try to solder them. So let's see what happens. Okay, that looks good and soldered. Although this is still a little bit loose here, I think what I might do is tighten these down. Let's put some hot melt glue on them. Next, I think we should probably hot glue maybe around this. Now that we have that fixed, we need to go ahead and wire this in. This is the switch in the lamp assembly. So one leg would be here, the other leg would be here. So we need now to wire our AC to here. And I've got an AC cord right here. You need to check which one is ground. What we'll do is we'll cut that off short. We'll get a little heat shrink to put onto it. And there are our two leads, our neutral and hot. Let's tin these wires. We have one wire that needs to be hooked up to the switch side here, which is right there. Okay, let's solder the first one to the switch side. And the second one we're going to go to the same side of the switch. It doesn't matter because it's all going to be in series. Then we need a wire from here to here. And since that was blue, we'll also use blue. Now you're probably asking why I didn't leave this bus line in here. Well, my initial thought was once I had glued these in and I needed to get the switch out, I would have to undo this glue. So that was the reasoning behind that. Okay, from the input of the plug here, our first connection should go from here to the switch. Which is right there, and that's working. If I take the light bulb and screw it in, I should now be able to read through the light bulb to the outer casing, which I do. Then from there, it would go to the plug, which would go through the electrical piece of equipment. Let's see if we can find something to plug in here. It would go through the electrical, back out to here. Off, on, off, on, off, on. Okay, we now have a dim bulb checker. So let's plug this into the isolation transformer. Let's turn it on. Let's bring it up to 120 volts. Let's turn on our power unit. The unit here is drawing so much wattage that the bulb is absorbing it. So if there were a short here, we would not be damaging anything inside of this unit. Now let's find something that takes very little wattage. How about a small adapter? And that works fine. Okay, we now have our dim bulb tester. We can go ahead and mount it to the workbench, and we can use this to protect any one of our pieces of equipment that we're working on from now on. If you found this video useful or entertaining, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to click on the bell icon to be notified of upcoming videos. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for watching.